Hello everyone. What the Duck is an action RPG published by Untold Tales. And in this video we take a closer look at how this game works on the Nintendo Switch. Because let me say this will be a bumpy ride through a three-dimensional world. You play as a hero exploring different areas, full of puzzles, enemies and challenges. To help him he has a companion, a duck, and together they set out to defeat the forces of evil. Okay, the first thing I want to say is that you meet a number of individuals who either help you or want to see you knocked down on the ground. The dialogues can be relatively well written, but above all I want to highlight the design, which is reminiscent of a comic book. Quite cool actually. Perhaps one of the game's primary assets. Unfortunately, it becomes more problematic when you have to explore the world. This game is definitely one of the buggiest I've ever experienced on the Nintendo Switch, hands down, in a league of its own. To the point where I basically gave up, not because the game is overly difficult or challenging, but because all the bugs prevent you from progressing, and if you haven't saved your game in advance, you risk having to start from scratch. Here are a couple of examples. Here, my character is stuck far away from the statue. I can neither reach the menus nor move to a new position. I am forced to reset the game. In this sequence, I am running so fast that I am out of the frame. The camera simply does not keep up. There is no worse enemy than a hungry crocodile, but it's not too dangerous. It auto-deletes itself by falling underground. It disappears. Here it looks like I'm taking a mud bath. But the truth is, I'm stuck in the middle of the floor. There is also a lot of clipping in the game. I can run right through what appear to be solid objects. And despite all the problems, I have waited to review the game. I thought maybe there will be an update that fixes bugs and issues. And indeed, the game has received an update. So what happened when I restarted the game? It crashed. Seriously, what is going on? What a duck. And then you play a new character, a fresh new start, a chance to witness the game from a new perspective. A glitched perspective, stuck in the ground. But let's look at the battles and what you have access to. You can use short-ranged weapons and long-ranged weapons. Personally, I prefer using slingshots, because the enemy can do a lot of damage in melee range. Admittedly, one swords and axes can pump out a lot of damage, but it's much more risky because you yourself risk getting hurt. So it feels more controlled to keep your distance and dish out damage from afar. I will say though that there are a variety of enemies that all have different abilities. This is a relatively good aspect of the game, as the battles feel more meaningful. You may have to stop and learn how the enemy behaves. Blindly going into battle can be costly, because as I said, some enemies are really strong. Although some fall through the floor. You also encounter a number of bosses, which are quite entertaining. Sometimes it's necessary to get help of your duck in order to win, so the overall impression from the fights is that the developers try to do something more than just trade punches. This is good. But the control is not always the easiest to use. It works really well to run and move 360 degrees. However, if moving over an inclined plane, you can expect your character to slow down in an awkward way. Look here as I try to go up the stairs. And the duck is not so easy to handle either, especially when flying. It can be problematic to know what is below and where you will land. Sometimes it feels like you're taking a chance when you control the duck, but in the menu there are at least a couple of functions where you can adjust the speed of the camera and you can set the X and Y axis to your liking. So if you play this game, I really recommend that you make some settings according to your needs. What the Duck is a game that really gives a mixed impression. On the Nintendo Switch, there are obvious problems with all the bugs and glitches. I don't know if it's similar if you play on PC though. Maybe it's better there. At least I want to put plus points on a couple of things. Some puzzles are relatively entertaining, and there is definitely an investigative aspect to the game. You can do a lot of quests and explore some areas. It gives a sense of freedom, but the poor control combined with too many bugs drags this game's rating down considerably. But if the developers create a version that eliminates all the problems, we might have a game that is capable enough. In this case, I recommend waiting with the purchase. And as I said, maybe it works better on PC, because the Switch version is unfortunately not good enough at the moment. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I review new games every week, or almost every week. Have a nice day. See ya!